It's a new era for several sports. At CSU-Pueblo, Bryant Johnson with you. Another edition of Walk with the Wolves, all access with CSU-Pueblo. We'll chat with Matt Morris, who's in charge of the men's track and field, men's indoor track and field, cross country, 6 sports total for Matt. And it allows us to take a new look at some of the new sports arriving on campus. But doing this a second time and becoming accustomed to men's track and field, men's cross country, starting from scratch. What have you learned, and what can you take from your time in Montana?
Yeah, you know, it's I guess it's not a bad thing to be typecast. You know, I like the opportunities. As a coach, your role changes a little bit, and that you have to be more of a leader. You have to kind of help them through some of those things. So it becomes really important that you get the right student athletes, kids that are good bricks to build on, that are good students, hard workers, that can be leaders down the line, knowing that they're still just freshmen. We've kind of kept that in mind with recruiting this year, and I think it's going to help us quite a bit.
Your resume, coming from an NAI, D1, having the D2 experience here, how have you been able to take something from different classifications and create the type of team that you want after seeing how a lot of other schools work and operate?
Yeah, you know, I think that you do take a little bit from all those programs, but I think that this is a good combination to give kids a great student-athlete experience and let them do the best they can.
You have found yourself in a school that is really run by football, that has an incredible football program. John Riston was involved in an early interview process with you. And Coach Riston wanted to make it clear he had some grand ambitions about how track and football could work.
That being said, one of the real draws for me at CSU-Pueblo was the fact that the coaches got along so well. I mean, there's a really tight group of people here, great family, and you can talk to any of the other coaches. And that, to me, when you work in different departments, is really important. You know, and John's no different. In fact, you know, he's one of the most important guys here, and so that really was a factor in me looking at this job and taking this job. And you do want to be able to work together, because at the end of the day, you know, we have a saying here where there's a number of programs, but we're one team. And coming to a place like CSU-Pueblo, you have to be part of that and embrace that. And so, you know, I was excited about those opportunities, and John's just, along with, you know, everyone else, Stan and Ralph and everybody else.
Here's what stands out if I'm looking at football and track and field and trying to identify what direction to go. If I'm a high school athlete and I'm a triple jump for track and field, I'm a running back in the fall, and I've got options, but not all schools want to partner with track and field athletes in football. So what did Coach Riston tell you in terms of having that athlete that is really interested in track and field, but football is also a priority? Where do you come in?
Yeah, you know, we had that conversation. I think he was really interested because they'd had some student athletes before who maybe had wanted opportunities to do both and weren't able to here because there wasn't a men's program. So they knew that we can get some kids that can help both programs. But I really think from John's standpoint is that he's like, what makes our department better? And if us working together, it makes us better, makes football better, makes track better, makes the whole program better, then how do we make that work? And that was really exciting to hear, because that doesn't happen all the time, like you mentioned. A lot of times it becomes very isolated. That's my athlete, etc. And so what I think at the end of the day is if you have student athletes that want to have that opportunity, you want to be able to create that for them.
Really, the last year you had a women's team that was resurrected in 2008, but that they were missing their other half, didn't have the men's team. What are you finding out the addition of men's can do for the women's team?
The women's programs work together, you know, they really do. And I think when you have just a women's program, there's some things you can do well there, but it is kind of half of the equation. And so I know the women that we have now are very excited to have the men's program started again. And I know that we're bringing in recruits because we don't have men here yet. So you're bringing in men's recruits with only the women's program to show them where we're going, what we're going to do, and that's been important as well. And so I think that they are going to work together and they are going to support each other, and it will be more of a whole program having the men come in.
RMAC is one of the most established conferences in the entire country. When you're looking at an Adams State, a Western State, and knowing what they've accomplished, how does that change the way you recruit and the response you're hearing from recruits?
That's one of the questions I got asked right away was, you know, how do you feel about going into such a strong conference? Knowing that, you know, on the women's side you're young, on the men's side you're starting from scratch, you know, doesn't that scare you? Or no, not at all. That's exciting. That helps us recruiting. You know, good people want to go where they have good competition. That being said, we have our work cut out for us, for sure. But, you know, I think you have to look at the big picture, and that they've had track here before. So we are, like you said, a resurrecting program. They've had a lot of success, you know. They've had, and there's people in the community here in Pueblo who were strong male track and field athletes here at CSU-Pueblo, Dan DeRose, Tim Mondragon, you know, that you want to be responsible to what they've done in the past and move that forward. And so, I think that they've had those things here, and so I think it's going to be a great transition. But I like being in a good conference.
Well, you're recruiting athletes who have to understand that they're going to be running for a Division I former athlete at the University of Montana in Matt Morris. Are we trying to recruit a bunch of Matt Morrises, a few Matt Morrises?
Well, let's hope we get some people better than Matt Morris. If we have a whole team full of Matt Morrises, my career might be short here.
What did you call yourself? Yeah. You were the Steve Kerr of runners. What does that even mean?
I was very fortunate to be on very good teams. Let's put it that way. I moved through the whole program, and I was the freshman that came in. And it was like, and I was the kid on the team, and then I was our team captain. So, I think that's why I wanted to coach and provide those opportunities for other people as well. So, really, we're just looking to get good kids who want to compete and get better.
Yeah.
How good they are, and in my mind, we're trying to teach them life skills, and give them opportunities to get better, and that was me as well. So I'm glad my coaches didn't just worry about how fast I was, and gave me opportunities. So that's really our focus.
Well, best of luck, Matt. Thanks for chatting with us on Walk with the Wolves, and what an exciting 2015 and, of course, 2014 you still have ahead of you.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Bryant.